Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming one of the most classic character actresses of all time, Marianne Muellerleile. I'm having her on the show today to talk about her amazing career, starting, in the theater and then playing such horrendous characters in lots of great movies and TV shows, and some diverse roles as well. She was in such classics as she was the wrong Sarah Connor in the iconic Terminator. She was in Revenge of the Nerds when Wormser is trying to look for a room for rent. She was on shows like Give Me a Break, Sledgehammer. She was in Brittany Fox's Girls' School Video. She was in Curse 2, The Bite. Lots of great movies and TV shows, and I'm having her on today to talk about all that stuff, and I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. So, here is my interview with Marianne Muellerleile. Hey, Marianne, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, fine. Boy, you're as punctual as they come. How lovely.
Thank you so much. This is such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
It's my pleasure, Tommy. Nice to chat.
Awesome. So, going back in time, did you gravitate toward acting early on?
Well, I did it from grade school all through high school and college and everything, but I never took it I never considered it as a career path because I did first look at it and thought, well, it's just too impractical.
Yeah.
There's no path. It's hit and miss, and so I ruled it out.
Wow. But you.
Yeah.
But you.
I'm. Excuse me. I am fighting a sinus infection, but I'm on the way to health. I did think that I am very practical. I'm very business oriented. Mm-hmm. However, God had a different plan, and I am a God-centered person. So when that became obvious, when the opportunity arose, and I was being asked to join a theater company, I thought, well, nobody asked me to come be a teacher at their school, so I guess I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. That's how it happened.
You're originally from Missouri?
I am from St. Louis. I went to Catholic schools all at that time through a Jesuit university at St. Louis University, and then I went to University of Minnesota because they had a great graduate program, and I love cold weather, and my ancestors settled in Minnesota. So wow. I thought, that sounds like a good choice.
Yeah.
For a 22-year-old to make.
That's an amazing background. So you went to New York to study acting?
No. I should tell you that the reason how it is that I got an opportunity to join a theater company. Mm-hmm. I was in the first year of my MFA program, Master of Fine Arts program. And the reason I took fine arts instead of just a master's of drama or theater is when I looked at both of those curriculums, I thought, oh dear, the master's of drama or theater is just much harder and not as much fun. What the heck? I'm just going to take this Master of Fine Arts, concentrate on acting because it'll be fun. This is the 22-year-old logic. And then I did a play. My first year, I did several plays, but this particular play was directed by a man named Charles Nolte. Mm-hmm. He had a very illustrious career as a young actor on Broadway. And so he knew Tennessee Williams, and we were doing a Williams play, so he had Tennessee Williams come see it. And the Twin Cities clamored to get Tennessee Williams for interviews. He was interviewed in all the major papers, and in it, he said that the three young actresses, and then he named us, were the future of the American theater. So all these regional theater directors came to see us, and we all got offered contracts.
Wow. That doesn't happen anymore.
But as I said, I'm, terribly grounded in business and everything. So when I was asked, I was startled, but pleased. I said, however, I'm in a first year of a 2.5-year program. Could you come back next year and ask me? I'll switch my focus and I'll accelerate my program and try to get finished. And Terrence Kilbert of Meadowbrook Theater said, sure, I'll ask you next year. So in that second year, I did what I thought I should do. I learned about unions. I learned what kind of money I'd make. I learned about pensions and health care. And I did accelerate my program. I did not finish before I left. I left with 6 hours of independent study, which I told myself I would do while I was in Michigan, which I did not do, but I had 5 years to get it done. I did get it done. I came back the next year after that first season at Meadowbrook Theater. I did my master's thesis and my recital, and then about 4 years from there, I finished those 6 credit hours, and I ended up getting the master's of fine arts.
Wow.
And, 5 years of professional work. I was at Meadowbrook for, I don't know, like 6 out of 8 years, during which time I moved to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And not to take classes. I did take classes, but that's not why I moved to New York. I moved to New York for the acting opportunities. I just finished 2 years of, 6 years undergraduate studies and 2 years of what was very concentrated acting studies. Mm. So, I took like dance and song, singing with a private coach. But I didn't take acting. Heck, I just done 6 years of acting classes.
Yeah.
I didn't think I needed it. So,
yeah, I see.
Anyway, that's how I moved to New York about around 74 or 5, something like that.
Yeah, I see all the pictures on your website. You were in some really great plays like Streetcar Named Desire and Harvey and Once Upon a Mattress. Those must have been just a lot of fun to do.
It all is. I mean, honestly, even, when you don't absolutely love your director or you gotta, or playing opposite somebody who's kind of funky, it's so much fun. I'm so glad I went into acting. And by the way, I learned rather quickly I'd be a terrible teacher. I don't have that much patience. It's grown now that I'm 70. I've grown in patience. Life has taught me that, but I would not have been any good. Oh, I was so wrong. And unfortunately, the plan was in place, and I was at least smart enough to step out of my own way and go with the greater plan. Yeah.
Now, when you're doing theater in New York in the big leagues like that, did you ever get stage fright?
I did in New York because the truth is, I didn't get stage fright in L.A. that much, or when I was in school, or certainly not these later years. But in New York, I did, and this is the reason why. I really wasn't as competitively talented as the majority of the kids that were in New York for the long run. They wanted to get Broadway careers. Those kids, I mean, honey, when I was coming up, I didn't even know there were places like Juilliard. I didn't know there were schools dedicated only to the arts. I would never have taken them. I would have thought that was idiotic. But those kids that do that and have that kind of breadth of talent, I mean, when they compete, it makes you have stage fright. They're so good.
Yeah.
And the truth is, although I did work in New York, I did not, and I did get some Broadway auditions, I wasn't even called back for them. I was not competitive enough I don't believe. I can dance, I can sing, and I can act. But there's always somebody who's going to be better. Yeah. And if they happen to be at that audition with me, they're going to get the first. Now, it's been a different story in L.A.
Yeah.
I'm very competitive here. It's a, I'm this is my 48th year, Tommy.
Yeah.
I got a big perspective now on the business, I'm awfully glad I went to New York. New York remains my favorite city in the world, and I've traveled extensively. But it remains my favorite city, even though it has greatly changed, and not necessarily for the better.
Yeah.
It's still a great, great, wonderful city. And I was there this year. We try to go every year, or at least every other year. I'm going in March. I went this past, July and August. It's a great city. So, anyway, is there another question? I kind of went off the rail there for a little bit.
Oh, they want to hear you, not me.
Okay.
I was going to say, though, I have a friend. He lived in New York in the 90s. He loved it then, and then he moved back in 2014. Now he's been trying to get out ever since.
Yeah, I understand that. I still, though, and now, I come at this age, I have more money, and so I can enjoy things that I couldn't when I was younger, but I didn't need to. I was happy with my means and what was available to me. Mm-hmm. Life is so interesting as we go through. How old are you, Tommy?
I'm 36.
Okay. You're kind of in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of it. Anyway, it's gosh, what a marvelous journey it's been. It keeps on going, I'm on avail for 2 commercials right now. I mean, hopefully I'll get 1. Maybe I'll get 2. Maybe I'll get none. It just keeps going. Life is good.
Mm-hmm. What other actors were there with you in the 70s in New York?
Oh my goodness, honey. Honestly, the only ones I can tell you about are my personal friends. Mm-hmm. Because it didn't register with me who was there and who then went on became famous. None of that kind of mattered to me. The people that were there that I hung out with, that were actors who were doing the same things, was Mary Pat Gleason, Jane Howdishell. Now, Jane has stayed there the whole time and done very well, and now is a big Broadway actor. Mm-hmm. But she's a personal friend. I met her when I was 22.
Yeah.
So, I stood up for her at her wedding. So, we did not compete with each other when we were in New York because she kept going to regional theater. Mm-hmm. And I was just trying to stay in New York and see if I could work there. And if I couldn't, I was going to move to L.A. And eventually, after 6 years, I thought, well, no, it's time to take one more great trip to Europe because I love travel, and then stop spending money and go live in L.A. and see if I can do it there. So that's what I did. The other people that were there, though, a friend of mine named Barbara Christie, a guy named George McCullough. But these names, although Barbara has stayed in the business, George has left and became a personal trainer. So I can't really tell you. Although I went to every play. Oh my goodness, did I go to the theater?
Yeah.
I did see everything. So certainly those people were there, but you put me on the spot if I had to try to remember them. I'd have to go with IMDb and look up, when certain plays were, who was in it. I used to keep all those programs, but when I moved west, I dumped them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had hundreds. It was a very exhilarating time in New York. I had great agents, great friends, lots of energy,
Yeah.
tap and ballet. Oh, it was fun.
What year did you move to LA?
I came in 81 at the age of 33. Mm-hmm. And in my preparation, I thought, well, I've got to make myself an audition outfit. So I made a denim skirt and a plaid blouse, and I thought I'd be very hip by lining the interior of the collar and the cuffs in a solid color where the rest was plaid. Oh, I loved that outfit. And I wore it to almost everything. And I booked. I booked right away.
Nice. Did you take classes with the Groundlings?
Oh, no. Didn't even know what they were, honey. No. Of course, I know all about them now, and I have many friends who are graduates of it and
yeah.
teach there. But no, and I wouldn't have. It's that practical side. I wouldn't have done it. I did have improv in my undergraduate and my graduate studies. I had classes in that, but the idea of taking a year-long or 2-year-long program of just improv, it didn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
People, I remember other actors saying, well, aren't you, taking classes? And I said, no, I'm acting. I'm being paid to act. That's my class.
Yeah.
And, and that was kind of my attitude. It might have been naive or egotistical, but I did my studies, and I assumed I could act, and I booked, so I acted.
Yeah, because I saw on Facebook that Lynn Stewart and Gloria Vassie. They're both dear friends of mine. And
Oh, yeah. Oh, I just love them both.
Yeah.
So talented. You know?
And Gloria's niece, Terry Bolo, she's also a dear friend, the sweetest lady I know, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an awful lot of great people in theater and in the entertaining. There's also not so great people, but
oh, yeah.
It's a wonderful community. I'm very happy to have spent 48 years in it.
Mm-hmm. So let's get into the movie and TV rules.
Okay.
According to IMDb, your first movie was playing a co-ed in The Heartbreak Kid.
Oh, my gosh, yes. That was at University in Minnesota. And I was, of course, uncredited.
Yeah.
That movie starred Sybil Shepherd and Jeannie Berlin, who is the daughter of Elaine May.
Yep.
And the reason I got in is while that was being shot, Jeannie's character didn't have scenes there. They were Sybil's scenes. So Jeannie decided to give classes and to the theater department. And so I took them. And at one point she says, now, do any of you want to be in the movie? I raised my hand. She said, okay, I'm going to set it up so that you're a co-ed. And I was okay. So that was my first movie. Of course, I'm credited. But it was fun.
Yeah.
I don't think we got paid. We might have gotten paid, but I don't think we got paid. I would have remembered that. My practical side was with it, but I don't think we got paid. But we had wonderful classes with Jeannie, and I remember after Minnesota, after shooting in Minneapolis, they went to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And she asked some of us in her classes, did we want to go with her? Oh, I thought, well, that's ridiculous. No, of course not. I've got a degree to finish here. So, no, I never even thought of it. My best friend left and went with her. I was so shocked.
Mm-hmm.
And, I won't go into the rest of that story. It didn't turn out as he had hoped.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I remember you worked with Charles Grodin again years later in Clifford.
Oh, wait, was Charles Grodin in The Heartbreak Kid?
He is the Heartbreak Kid.
He is? Oh, well, you know more than I do. Yes, I did work with him in Clifford and actually worked with him. He's very funny.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. He's very unique. His sense of humor is very unique, and he's lovely. And my scenes primarily were with, I should have my IMDb up. Oh, no, it won't be there. Come on, what's his name? Who's the kid? Well, you don't know either. I had wonderful scenes with an actor, Martin Short.
Oh, Martin Short, yeah.
Martin Short, yeah.
Of course.
Oh my gosh, did we scream with laughter. You can even imagine how funny it is. And he played a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and I played his mother. And, I saw him about 2 years ago, maybe 3. But it was recent when I was in New York. I'd say 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were at Joe Allen's, or I was out with, probably Jane. And I saw him, and I thought, what the hell, I'm going to go up. And I did. And I reminded him of our scenes. He jumped out of his seat, threw his arms around me.
Yeah.
But that's who he is. He's so genuine. He's so accessible. What a lovely, lovely guy. He didn't have to do that. He could have just shook my hand and said, oh, it's nice to see you. I would have, moved right along. But no, brought me in, engaged me. Very nice guy.
I've heard, a lot of great stories about Martin Short. He's just a genuine, really nice guy.
I think he also just got I read in the trades the last couple of days that he just got a gig. Of course, I don't remember all the details, so why am I bringing it up? The guy's got a very active, career. He's totally out there.
Yeah, he was doing a stage show with Steve Martin.
Oh, yes. And, in fact, my friend Bonnie Hunt was a part of that for a while.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So, anyway.
She's a talented lady.
Moving on.
Yeah. You played a patient in Exorcist 2, The Heretic.
Oh, dear. Exorcist 2?
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, honey, you're going to have to. It must have been one day or something.
Yeah, it's John Boorman.
I can't remember.
Okay.
I mean, who was the director?
John Boorman.
Oh, dear. Moving on.
Okay. Do you remember when you were a party goer in Arthur?
Oh, these are way back. Oh, my gosh, you're killing me.
Don't worry, it's going to get easier. I'm just starting off
I do remember that. I do remember Arthur. But these, let me tell you something about this. Was it when I was in New York?
Right.
And there was no extras union or extras division in Screen Actors Guild.
Mm-hmm.
So all those of us who were actors, who were, working to do well, get better parts, expand our careers, we all took extra parts. You could see anyone of any kind of standard doing an extra because you were picking up $70, $80.
Right.
We had a ball. So, yes, I do remember that. And I did about 6 or 7 of them in New York, I think. And I remember one was with Woody Allen.
Uh-huh.
And that was Stardust Memories. And he upgraded me. He upgraded me, which is what, of course, an actor lives for. So he gave me a bit. And it was in a huge, like a solarium or a greenhouse. But it was a massive setting, one room, lots of people in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to take a drag on a cigarette and exhale at a certain time. Well, first, I was just supposed to be in the scene and make a face with whoever the lead was. Of course, I don't remember. Then Woody said, do you smoke? I said, no, I don't. He said, could you hold the cigarette? I said, I can hold a cigarette. So then he assigned a person to me who had to light my cigarettes, and then as they burned, when we did another take, they had to switch out my cigarette, smoke it down to the level that it was, and put it back in my hand. And so that went on for a couple of, in the end, we shot at one scene for 2 days. And, but it was a huge scene. And finally he said, do you think you could take a drag of smoke and then exhale it? You don't have to inhale it. Just hold it in your mouth. I said, yes, I can. So we did that, for another day. But that was a wonderful experience. That was just mind blowing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was so young, and it's just, you know,
Yeah.
all I've done is college, and then I did the stage in Michigan. I did 25 plays there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So this was my first kind of real show busy thing, you know. My real kind of, I mean, I spoke to the director. You know, he had me do stuff. And Woody Allen, you know, big talent and at the height of his career.
Yeah.
So that was a memorable time.
Yeah, I was looking it up on IMDb. You were in Manhattan and Stardust Memories for Woody Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Manhattan, I remember just crossing the street in Soho. Best part about that is that I lived in Soho, so that early morning call, I got to sleep as late as possible. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm that kind of guy too. I love sleeping in late.
Well, I go to bed late.
Yeah. Were you able to get your SAG card right away?
Would you repeat that, dear?
Were you able to get your SAG card right away?
Now let me think. I have an interesting story about how I got my SAG card. I was in Michigan, as I said, doing the stage work, and one of the local actors who's been hired for a play. Now, this was the first play I did there, was Remember the Wedding. He was a local actor, and he worked with the local branch in Detroit, which was about 30 minutes away from us. And he came in one day, and he said, listen, any of you who aren't in SAG, our local branch here in Detroit is trying to build up its membership, so you can get your SAG card for $50. I put my hand up. I bought my card that day. And he said, you know, now this doesn't have to be your permanent. If you move to New York, or, you know, if you work out of LA, you just transfer it. But it'll help us. And I raised my hand. I bought my card for $50. My first year in equity, 1973.
Nice.
It was incredible. And then when I went to New York, I had I got an agent, and the assistant there, his name was Rick Jacobs, wonderful guy, has gone on to an illustrious career in casting. But when he was on the desk at Gage, he transitioned while he was in New York to being a casting associate on a soap opera. And so I said to him, Rick, put me on as a nurse. I can get my AFTRA card. He said, I'll do it. And he did, and I got my AFTRA card. See, remember I told you I was business-oriented?
Yeah.
This is it. This is how it's reflected in my career.
Nice.
So that's on that IMDb. It was, what was the name of it? The Doctors.
The Doctors.
Was the name of it.
Yeah.
It's on there, I think.
Yeah, it's here. There's 2 episodes here. Uncredited Nurse.
Yep, there I am. But I got paid. They got my card.
Do you remember the episode you did of Give Me a Break?
Yes.
I love that one.
I remember it? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember it because, number one, I love Nell Carter.
Yeah.
Very funny. And I was perfect for it because I have worked out for my whole life. Since my dad had a heart attack, I was 23. So from then on, I worked out. No matter how heavy or slim I was, I always worked out. So that part was about a big woman who is leading a group of people, with Nell being the number one candidate, into a healthy exercise routine.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. We had a ball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She was... Oh, it's so sad when she died so young.
Oh, not just her, but also Dennis Berkeley and Cynthia Zaghetti, who was hilarious.
Yeah, you're right. Both of them was... Oh, yeah. Cynthia, I did a couple of shows with Dennis Berkeley. Mainly I did that one, but also my second audition was my second job. It was Greatest American Hero.
Oh, yeah.
We had scenes together there. Oh, he's a nice guy. Died young. Speaking of, I hope you got the news. That Kobe Bryant died.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it, though.
Well, anybody that young, whether you cared about his talent or not, it's tragic. And I understand that some of his family was traveling with him, and they died.
Yeah, I mean, I do think he was a talented basketball player and that he was way too young. But, about those accusations that happened years ago, it turns me off a little, though. But I do feel bad for him in the whole situation, And
so many people will grieve that passing. But life goes on, and it's a constant reminder that we just don't know, do we?
Yeah.
You just have to take each day and enjoy it and be kind.
Yeah.
Critical people.
Yeah.
Okay, now where are we in this interview?
My earliest movie memory of you, and every time I think of you, this one comes up in my brain. Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh my gosh, let me tell you about that.
Yeah.
Well, I believe we shot in New Mexico. And their idea was to get me out there, get me in costume, have me shoot it, and fly me back. They were really going to save some money.
Mm-hmm.
We only did that one scene. And I remember we got there, we went to the costume trailer, and they had an outfit for me that just didn't fit. There was no getting in. Oh my gosh, the panic. Because everybody knew they wanted to get me in and out so they didn't have to pay the extra day of, me as talent, me in a hotel, all that. So I remember the girl turning to her assistant and says, just go to Target and just get anything that looks cheap and sleazy.
Yeah.
And so she went, and she came back with this hilarious outfit. I remember I had to tape my breasts up so they looked like they were falling out.
Yeah.
and then we did the scene, and that little boy was so cute. It was sort of a natural reaction. And before I knew it, I was in the car and back at the airport. I had fun. It's a memorable spot.
Yeah, that boy was Andrew Cassis. I interviewed him a year ago. Great guy. He's doing a lot of commercials and voiceovers now.
So he does. He stayed in the business.
Yes, and he lives in New York.
Yeah, he's a sweet kid,
Yeah, I've interviewed him. Jeff Canoe, the director. He's a character.
Guy. Oh, yes. Jeff had a wonderful career. He's cast me in other things.
Yeah. On the DVD commentary track, Curtis Armstrong says that he had done theater with you in New York, and he had no idea you were in the movie. And when he saw you, and he says it was so hilarious. It was a lot funnier than the way it came off on the paper.
Yeah. Actually, Curtis and I worked together in Michigan.
Oh, in Michigan.
He probably said Michigan because we both really got our cards, our equity cards there. And we did quite a few plays together, and I consider him to this day a friend.
Oh, that's great. I met him at a convention a couple of years ago. We both love Harry Nilsson, so we were talking about Harry Nilsson.
Yeah.
You've really carved out a niche for playing women who are just horrendous nightmares.
Yeah, I'll pretty well play anything if it's not amoral.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have. I've played an awful lot of tough bitches and, grumpy, but I've played just as many others too. I'm very, very happy with how my career has gone. And when I was quite young, when I was first asked to come to that theater in Michigan and had to rethink my plan for my life, I thought, okay, I'm going to do this, so I've got to have new goals, and what are my goals going to be for a career in theater? And I decided it was longevity, variety, and constancy. And that's what it's been.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's a character that shouldn't have died because she wasn't horrendous, and that was the wrong Sarah Connor in the beloved, iconic sci-fi classic, The Terminator.
Yeah. Yeah, whoever would have thought? That was sort of a very interesting audition process.
Mm-hmm.
We were not given the sides or anything. It was simply I was given the 2 or 3 pages that described this, person crossing a street and thinking I'm somebody and shooting me.
Yeah.
And so all I had to do was say yes, and then a silent scream.
Right.
And that was it for the audition. But he had me come back 2 other times to do it.
Wow.
And now, I know. And, looking back on it, of course it became a huge hit and a big franchise. And, so much happened. It put him on the map, everything. And I thought, that kind of detail where he would call back an actor who has a very small scene, but to him it is critical, it is pivotal. He put as much care and thought into casting my part as I'm sure he did every other part. And that's why he's one of the greatest.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
really is fully engaged in his process.
yeah,
It was fun, and then the whole thing was, I was there at 6 a.m. I was, we shot my point of view and Arnold's point of view, and then I remember we broke for lunch, and I brought my lunch. I'm always dieting, so I'm always bringing my own food, and
yeah,
at the breaks I was also studying. I was taking investments. This was pretty early in my career here in Los Angeles. I didn't know many people, so I signed up for an investments course at Hollywood High and night school, and I was taking some, I was singing in my choir, so I had some music to learn. I was doing all this, and Arnold came over to me during this lunch break, and he said, would you like to join me for lunch? I said, oh, sure. So now mind you, I'd eaten my, tuna fish and my rice cracker, but I thought, of course, I'm going to go in. So I went into his trailer, and I nibbled at a salad. I watched him have all this protein and then have a glass of wine, and I thought, oh my God, how European. I'd been to Europe by then, but I thought, oh my goodness. We just talked about, I'm married, of course, at the time. He was a Catholic, and he's incredibly charismatic. I have since gone on and done other movies with him and seen him.
yeah, Jingle All the Way.
Yeah. But it was a wonderful, a wonderful time. And after lunch, we went and shot one reverse scene, and I was dismissed by about 1:30. $600.
Yeah.
I remember that, and it's paid ever since. It keeps on paying.
Yeah, I'm sure you get recognized every day for that alone.
Well, I do pretty often, even though, my God, talk about, how many years was that? 35?
36 now, yeah.
Years?
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly I'm a senior citizen now, but people do remember. It's funny the things people remember me for, all sorts of things. Like you said, the Revenge of the Nerds, it's just
Yeah.
entertainment, it makes impressions, it impresses people's memories in all different ways and all different projects, and fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a role in the medical school comedy Stitches?
I did.
Yeah.
Was that Mel Brooks?
No.
Yeah.
It was a little film.
It's not Mel Brooks.
No, you did Life Stinks with him.
Oh, yeah, Life Stinks.
Yeah.
Stitches.
Yeah.
Who did I play in that?
It was with Parker Stevenson.
Who was in that?
Parker Stevenson, Jeffrey Lewis.
Oh, God. Might have been a receptionist.
Yeah.
Played a lot of those, honey.
Yeah.
A lot of receptionists.
I haven't seen this movie
A
in
lot
years.
of nurses. I've probably played 40 nurses in my career.
Yeah.
Probably 10 nuns, maybe 30 next-door neighbors, maybe 15 wardens or prison guards,
Yeah.
I can't remember what I played.
Okay. Well, here's a good role you played. Yeah, you were on an episode of Sledgehammer.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was very funny. It was very funny. It was the actor's name David Rash.
David Rashi.
Rashi, that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was just very funny, and I played a character who was like a madam at a, or at least, maybe not a madam in the sense of hookers.
Yeah.
But, the woman in charge of a bar.
Yeah. Nightclub.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but I slugged him.
Yeah.
And, he insulted me in some way.
Yeah.
And I slugged him. And he did it so beautifully. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he made some.
I used that in my demo. Yeah.
Yeah, you made some wisecrack about your weight or something like that.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Oh my God! You kept hitting him, and he actually hits you back at the end, which you couldn't get away with on TV today. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? That reminds me of something that you say when you said that. I did a couple of episodes of Highway to Heaven, and in one of them, I'm a mother of a husband and wife whose son is having a Halloween party in the basement.
Right. And
the children, they're high schoolers, and they're misbehaving. And so the mother goes down there, and she has words with this kid who's misbehaving, and he mouths back to her, and I slug him. And I spoke to Michael Landon about it. I said, I mean, this is bad parenting. I just, do you really think, isn't there anything else we can do? And he said, Marianne, you don't understand. You're doing what every parent who watches this show wish they could do. It's cathartic for them to see you do it. I said, okay. There was no changing his mind. That's how he saw it, and that's how I played it. Mm-hmm. But it was, I don't know that you could do that today.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite movies of all time, The Philadelphia Story. In the first shot of the movie, Cary Grant hits Katharine Hepburn.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wouldn't happen.
No. How did you...
well, what else? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How did you get to be in Brittany Fox's Girls' School video?
Well, it's the only video I've ever done.
Yeah.
Honestly, Tommy, I don't even remember auditioning for it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I did. I don't remember. I must have auditioned, but I don't remember the audition. It could be that I was just the casting person. Again, I don't know who cast me. I could probably look that up. I keep a pretty good record of things like that. They may have just called and said, hey, this is fun. I think you'd be right. You want to come and do it? And I said, sure. I remember it was in Long Beach, and it was in a big warehouse. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of fun, and they let me improv a lot. And everything I did, they seemed to like. So I had a good time. And then years later, the Brittany Fox group, they went on and, had a career. And they were all very nice guys. Couldn't have been sweeter. And I called when I contacted them. Again, I don't know how. Maybe if I'm looking it up in my computer. Mm-hmm. If I have Brittany Fox and if I have a casting director. I got hold of them somehow and said, I have nephews there, nieces and nephews. It would mean the world to them to come see your show. And could they come back and meet you? And they said, sure. So I do have the name. The casting director was somebody named Joan Early. Uh-huh. And the director's name was Mark Wachowski. Means nothing to me. I did it in '88, the year I got married. But they let my niece and nephew come back with their friends. They treated them like royalty.
Nice.
That's life. It's kind of nice.
I hope you didn't
Really
go.
fun.
I hope you didn't go to your wedding with that androgynous look.
No, this was not around the time of my actual wedding. It was just the year of my wedding.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? I'm trying to see. Yeah, Brittany Fox. Yeah, I shot it in '88.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this movie I mentioned to a guest, and she didn't want to talk about it. And if you don't want to either, it's okay with me. Curse 2: The Bite.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll talk about that.
Okay.
Because I've got an interesting story about it. Now that happened shortly after I was married too. I remember because it shot in like Arizona, and they hired me as a truck driver, and the love interest for Jamie Foxx. Mm-hmm. And they never asked me if I could drive an 18-wheeler. Now, I did learn to drive a stick shift when I was learning to drive. But an 18-wheeler has two sets of gears. And I said, well, I can't do that and do my line. They said, no worries. What we're going to do, we're going to put somebody into the cab with you on the floor. When you have to shift, he's going to touch your leg and you put the clutch in, and then he will shift the right gear. So you just clutch every time he touches your leg. I said, we can do it. Now, this was, I had a second unit. They were a second unit. My storyline, B storyline, was being filmed by another director. And the whole team was from Italy. Mm-hmm. And I remember on this huge 18-wheeler, they put the cameraman in a harness with the camera. Then they took a rope, lashed it around his waist, and lashed it around the hood ornament on my hood of the truck. And he leaned off that truck, and I got up to 40 miles an hour. And all I could think was, my God, if that hood ornament pops off, that man's dead. And I mentioned it to safety. Oh, he said, no, we do this all the time. So, Bella, no, it's a lie. Go ahead. So I did it. But I was terrified all the time that the man was going to hurt himself. He didn't. That's
good.
What I remember about Curse to the Bite. That and the fact that they had me, there was a scene in which I'm in the cab of the truck with Jamie, and it's a romantic scene of some sort. Mm-hmm. And again, they had something for me to wear that didn't fit or wasn't right. The guy didn't like it. I said, well, I have a peignoir at home. I just got married, and I wore it on my wedding night, but you'll have to shoot it tomorrow because my husband will have to FedEx it today. And that's exactly what we did. I went and called my husband. He FedExed it that day, and I wore it the next day.
Wow.
So those are my... I couldn't tell you, honey, what that movie was about. I've never seen it. I probably had the script, but I don't remember. I wonder why the other person didn't want to talk about it.
Well, it was Jill Sholin who told me, and she said that there was an actor that was mean to her throughout the filming, and it just killed the experience for her.
It was bad.
Yeah, I have an idea of who it was, though, but I won't say. But he has a reputation.
No, of course not. No, there's no point in saying that. No.
And I interviewed an actor from the first Cursed movie, and he told me he didn't like that experience either. I guess these movies really are cursed.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I had fun. I generally always do. Honestly, I don't remember if I've had bad experiences on something. They just stay away from my memory.
Yeah.
I'm not, I've always said, somebody has to work very hard to offend me. Very hard. Because I always think it's whatever they're going through is a problem for them that had nothing to do with me. Might be directed to me, but not about me. And that's just how that's just the way I believe
That's
95% of life goes.
Yeah, that's a really good attitude to have, too. You have any great stories about working with Mel Brooks on Life Stinks?
Not really. I was a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I've done a couple of things with him, though. Oh, I can't remember. I mean, he's as you would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a real New Yorker. You know, he's funny. He's kind of all over the place. You know, big personality.
Right.
Super smart. Smart. Knows what he's doing. And I mean, I think it was just one day, and maybe it was two, and I was pushing somebody on a gurney, which I've done a few times
Mm-hmm.
in movies. So, no, I don't have anything in particular to say other than another pleasant day on set, you know?
Yeah, I just love that.
Fun.
I love that whole hospital scene. That doctor doesn't realize he's the same patient, so he keeps pumping him with all those drugs. It's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly, I so rarely look at what I've been in.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I have any difficulty looking at myself. I'm just on to other things.
Right.
My life is very dense. It's very full. And I'm generally moving forward. I'm in the moment or moving forward.
Yeah.
I have copies of 95% of everything I've done.
Mm-hmm.
I never go back and look at it. Never.
You probably
I
get
have copies.
you probably get invited to screenings when it comes up and all.
I do, and back, probably I would say 10 years ago, those screenings were just part of every movie.
Mm-hmm.
And rap parties, season raps, that was just, everybody did it. Not so much now. It's a different industry. They're saving money. They're not putting it into that sort of nice gift for the cast and crew. And frankly, at this age, I don't need to go to anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm okay. I have mentored a number of young people, and when I've been invited to these things, if I am mentoring, then I take them and I leave them there. I tell them, I'm leaving you there. I'll get you in, and you do what you want.
Yeah.
So, but I don't have the desire anymore. I went on a casting call of the one where I'm on a veil for this commercial. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine was there. She's 83 years old.
Wow.
And she is as eager and as thirsty for the work as she was when I met her 30 years ago. And I just marvel. I still want to work, but I'm not, I'm not eager. I'm not, can't wait to get in there and show them what I've got. I just go and do it and go home, and if it works, fine. If it doesn't, fine.
Right.
That's where I am, It's a good place to be.
Mm-hmm. One of my very favorite things you've done, again, another classic horrendous nightmare role of yours, was the wedding episode of Saved by the Bell when they're in Las Vegas.
Oh, my gosh. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I had done a couple of Saved by the Bell, I think, 2 of the series.
Yeah.
And then they cast me in this. And one of the best things about shooting that whole thing was, number one, it was in Las Vegas.
Right.
And I took my husband, and we had a ball.
Mm-hmm.
They put us in a lovely hotel, and, it was just terrific. The second thing is there was a designer on it. His name is Greg Lavoie.
Mm-hmm.
And he came up with the most delicious outfits. Oh, I thought they were fabulous. And I thought they really enhanced who the character was. And they helped me with how outrageous she was. When I put on those clothes, I thought, I am ready. Bring me the camera. And I also met Greg on that show. I've since worked with him many times, mm-hmm. and he has remained part of my life for probably, since whenever that was, 25 years, something like that.
Yeah.
So, and then Dustin
Diamond. Diamond.
Diamond, yes, Dustin Diamond.
Yeah.
Was a very sweet kid. I think he was a little genuinely overpowered by my persona.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was very easy for him to get to that somewhat horrified state when he was dealing with me in the back of that limo. I think it's hilarious. Yeah. I just love it.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that limo scene, he wants to watch cartoons. You put your foot forward to turn the TV off, and I don't know if it was really your foot or a stunt person's, right? But I remember, and I used to it always drove me crazy. I always had to pause this. The toenails were painted pink, but there was a big hole right in the middle of your toenail.
There was not a hole. It was like a crystal that had been glued on.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, you thought it looked like a hole. It was like a fake diamond.
Yeah, I thought maybe you stubbed your toe or something and it chipped off or something.
No, it was a big fake diamond, and I remember we shot scenes in the Roosevelt Hotel.
Yeah.
We were doing the tango.
Yeah.
And my sister, one of my sisters happened to be out.
Yeah.
And I said, come, you've got to see this. I promise you're going to love it. Well, she had the time of her life,
Yeah.
I mean, poor Dustin. We didn't know what hit him. I've got to tell you, some time later, I did a movie called Mad Dog, I think. And my part was actually cut. Mm-hmm. But it was a good movie. And I remember I was flown to New York. Mm-hmm. And after that movie, which was, I think, was in the same year or a year after the Las Vegas thing, I got in the mail a pie in a tin, and I opened it up, and it said, "Thank you so much for your contribution. Great working with you. Love, Dustin." Mm-hmm. I said, Dustin? I don't even know it's Dustin Diamond. Dustin Diamond isn't sending me this pie. So I called the company. They said, "Oh, it's Dustin Hoffman," because he was the lead in what did I say, Mad Dog? What was it?
Mad City.
Mad City?
Yeah, with John Travolta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, I never even had a scene with him. He said he sends it to everyone, cast and crew. I thought, wow.
Yeah.
Talk about, good mojo. I've been telling that story for years because it's just so lovely,
Yeah, it's a good story.
Yeah.
Wow. Any good stories about working on Road to Welville?
Well, Road to Welville, we shot in Michigan. That was nice. Mm-hmm. I remember Robert Crawford was in my scene, and I'd worked with him a few times. Mm-hmm. So that was pleasant, It was, and it was all about Michigan and Kellogg's, and I'd done all those years in Michigan at the theater, and I loved period pieces, and this was a period piece. I loved my costume, and I remember a nurse again, and I remember, to my astonishment, they had all our period shoes made custom. Mm-hmm. Because at the fitting back in L.A., I had to have my feet outlined, and they sent them all to Italy and had them made. And so after the shoot, I asked if I could have mine, and they said, "You certainly can." So I still have those period shoes, and I have worn them in auditions.
Nice.
That's my only story. Oh, I do have another story.
Uh-huh.
Cameron Manheim was in that show.
Right.
And that movie. And you know what? I said we shot in Michigan. We didn't. I think we shot in North Carolina or something. Mm-hmm. And I remember, she's quite a bit younger than I am. She was just starting out. This was like a first big part. Mm-hmm. And I remember it was either I think I was just talking to her, and she told me that she had gone to the audition and read for the part that she was assigned to read for, but she asked to read for the lead, for a lead. And I'd have to look up his name. Oh my gosh. Who's the director on it?
Oh, Alan Parker.
Alan, yeah.
Yeah.
And she said he resisted, but I convinced him, and so I'm actually going to play this part of this, I don't remember. It was like the lead's best friend. And Cameron, of course, at the time was a tall, big woman, and the idea of her, it was sort of breaking the mold, of what you would expect. And, of course, she was brilliant. And it also, of course, she's had an incredible career. And it showed me, at that time, I thought, wow, there's a strong-willed young character actor who knows what she's about. And sure enough, I've known her all these years, and she has been true to herself. She has seen herself as a lead, and that's what she carved out for herself.
Yeah.
I'm jumping out and saying, yes, but let me read for this. I'm right for this. Very few actors will do that.
Mm-hmm. Alan Parker, he's a genius. He should be making more movies, but I guess he decided, years ago that he was going to retire, sadly. But
yep, he is a genius. Yep, nice guy. I remember they had a big party. I don't think I was there at the end of the movie, so I don't know whether it was for just a holiday, Valentine's Day or whatever it was. They had this lovely big party, and we all hung out, and I have a bunch of pictures with him. And, he was sort of mild-mannered and sweet, but a creative genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had a recurring role on Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, yes. Yes, I did. That was originally just one episode. And John was taken with my character and his character playing against my character. And at the end of that episode, he said, "You're coming back. I'm going to see to it." And I thought, I hope that happens. Well, it did. He said, "I want her in the show." So I think I did 6. And at one point, they had to move me out of the cafeteria because that was exhausted. The stories from that position. And they moved me into Jane Curtin's assistant. So he had to go through me all the time to get Jane. Oh, my gosh, we had fun. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. John's I've worked with him a few times now. I think 2 other times.
He's brilliant. Yeah, that I've missed those kind of shows, those kind of fantasy shows in the tradition of I Dream of Jeannie and My Favorite Martian. It's just
you're right.
I don't know why they don't make them anymore. I guess just audiences today have
they're
different
not
tastes.
But things come back, and for quite a few years they didn't do multi-cameras, and that's my favorite of all sitcom shootings. That's my favorite. And finally now they are bringing them back. I dream of getting a multi-camera because it's like doing a little play. Oh, it's so fun. So easy. It's a little play.
Yeah.
It's a 22-minute play.
Yeah. I'm surprised The Big Bang Theory lasted 12 years in this era of, sitcoms going away.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're still out there working. Do you still enjoy acting?
Oh, absolutely. Right now I'm on a cartoon series as a voiceover of a waitress who's tough as nails, heart of gold, which I played many times. And I did about 16 episodes, and now we're waiting to hear if they're going to get a second season. We're supposed to hear this month. And then, as I said, I've done, just at the beginning of the year, I've probably done, about 6 commercial, maybe 5 commercial auditions and 6 voiceover auditions, and I'm on a veil for 2 of the commercials. And what that means is I, along with at least one other, are being considered for the get another job, they would like me to contact them first before I accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they can make an offer, make a better offer, release me, whatever it is. So if I get them, I could actually shoot them both. One shoots on the 1st and 2nd, and the other shoots from the 3rd to the 7th.
The business is so different from when you started. When it started to change, did you worry at all that you weren't going to be able to work as often?
I've never worried about any of it. No, I'm so of the mind that I can only get the parts I'm meant to get. I can't get all of them. Mm-hmm. Other people have to work. There are a million reasons why a person gets a job or doesn't get a job. I can't control any of it other than just what I'm doing in the audition, and that's up to me as to how I'm going to prepare. And after that, I let it go. I just let it go. That's not to say that there are, on occasion, times where I'm disappointed. But honestly, it's rare. It's very rare. In my whole career, I'd say maybe I was disappointed 5 times. Sorry I didn't get it. But often, that's not because the part is just something I'm desperate to do. It's because it's shot in Italy. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go to Italy.
Yeah.
Or it could be a wonderful part, and I wanted to, a chance at it, or it could be that it's a great actor. But honestly, I don't even know if it's 5 times in my career. I just don't think that way.
Yeah.
I think I'll get what I'm supposed to get. People say, "Are you ever going to retire?" I said, "Well, I don't need to. If they stop calling, well, then I guess I've retired. If they keep going, if I'm available, I'll go." I now, I've said already, I love to travel, and now I plan trips, a lot of trips. I probably do at least 4 to 6 trips a year, both within the country and abroad. And if I have to turn down jobs, so be it. If I have to not be available for an audition, well, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of having done these many years, having 3 pensions and Social Security, having been artistically fulfilled. Those are the gifts of this long career. And last year I was able to work. I did a pilot. Mm-hmm. I did 911. I did 7 episodes of the voiceover. And I did something else. Oh, I did the Women Who Kill, the Mark Cherry.
Oh, yeah.
Mark cast me in that, because he used me in Desperate Housewives, so he just called and said, "You want to do it?" And I said, sure. Mm-hmm. So, I'm getting ready to go. We just got back from Peru about 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And in about another month, for 5 weeks, I'm going to go to the Emirates.
Wonderful.
And I'd like to get a job before I go, but if I don't, okay.
Do you have a favorite role you've played?
Well, I do. Because of all the circumstances around doing the job.
Right.
That was a series called Life with Bonnie.
Oh, yeah.
Bonnie Hunt gave me the part. She wrote the part specifically for me. And she knows me well. So it was very easy for me to use my skill set. It was very easy to memorize. And it was the first time I had a schedule. I knew what my life was going to be for the next 6 months. I knew how much money I was going to make. I knew the weeks I had off and could accept other work. I mean, the circumstances of the whole thing were just phenomenal. I was so happy. I love Bonnie. I love working with her. I consider her a mega talent. And we had done a show. What was it called? Oh, my God. She was pulled from the groundlings for Second City from Chicago and brought out to do a series right when I was first married. A and I recurred on it. And she said to me, she said, I don't know where I'm going, but wherever I'm going, I'm taking you with me. And I thought, isn't that a Jewish idea? Is this young girl out of Chicago at her first show? I just tickled my head. Oh, and if she didn't do it, that girl, that is a woman who says what she means and does it. That is rare in Hollywood. And it's not because people want to go back on their word, but the pressure of showbiz is so great that seeing people who finally get in a position to have a show, say, this is who I want, the network says, I'm sorry, we have another choice for that part. Most people will say, oh, well, let's look at your choice. That wasn't Bonnie. She said, no, this is the right person for the part.
Oh.
That's rare. That's very rare. And, you know, I was 52, I think, or 51 when she gave me that part. And she did me a movie before that. And a wonderful part. I had a great time in this movie. But that part, that series, that two-year run, gave my husband and I our retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saved half of gross.
Wow.
And to have that windfall at 52 was a great, great blessing.
Yeah.
And it's why at 70 I can now travel when I want, you know, turn down something if it's conflicting with my travel. I had a job, not last year, but the year before. It was a movie. And I auditioned on my phone, and I got the part.
Mm-hmm.
And it was going to work around this cruise we were taking. I thought, oh, perfect. But then they changed the schedule. And I said, oh, sorry, I'm going on a cruise. And you'll have to find somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And they were heartbroken. I'm heartbroken. I hope that's the way it goes. Well, about 6 days later, they called and said, we've rearranged it again. We want you in the part. What we're going to do is cut 2 scenes. I said, okay, I'll be there. So I went to Georgia and did it and went on my cruise. That's what Bonnie's 2 years gave me.
Wow.
You know, freedom, that kind of freedom. Yeah.
You know,
of course,
I have found, and you're right, it is rare, but I have found that a lot of people who, you know, came from sketch and improv groups, they're very loyal to people who they think have talent, and they know that have talent, because they love actors.
Yeah, I think, and they stay with the people they can depend on.
Right. Right, and I think that's what you have with Bonnie Hunt. You know, she is truly amazing.
I just love her. I love her. Yeah, super talented.
So aside from that series you were talking about, there are any other upcoming projects that you'd like to plug?
Not upcoming. I have nothing. I mean, the voiceover that I'm doing, it's called The Rocketeer, and I have more episodes that are going to air, and it's on Disney Junior.
Oh, from the movie?
Not from the movie. It's all about a child.
Oh.
And the target audience is like 2 to 5 year olds. So I don't know if many of your podcast listeners will be interested in that, but if they have children, they are. Mm-hmm. It's a wonderful show. I'm very proud to be associated with it. I love doing the work. The themes are pure-hearted and lovely and simple and easy to grasp. And I think it's good moral content for young people. You know, how to be kind, how to stand up for yourself, how to help a friend, all those things. It's good.
Nice. So, Marianne, there's this silly game that I like to play with my guests, and it's kind of like, you know, it's like the James Lipton questionnaire from the Actors Studio, except it's the complete polar opposite. It's slumber party questions, and how this works is, I ask you the question, you answer it, and then you ask me that exact same question, and I answer it.
Okay.
Okay. Marianne, are you ticklish?
No, I am not. Tommy, are you ticklish?
Oh, I am baby ticklish, yes.
What does that mean, baby ticklish?
I get a knee-jerk reaction when I'm tickled.
The reason I'm not is I used to be, and my sister, older one, right above me, used to torture me. I trained myself not to laugh.
Wow. You have amazing self-control there. What's your favorite part of the body?
I think on a man it's arms, and on a woman it's probably hair. What's your favorite part of the body?
Well, man or woman, I have always loved the belly button.
Ah! You don't get to see it all the time.
Yes. Sometimes you do, though.
Yep.
What color are your toenails painted?
They are not painted right now at all, but when they are, they're red. Tommy, what color are your toenails?
Right now, they are not painted, but last time they were purple with sparkles.
Ooh, sounds very exciting.
Yes. And on my next trip to LA in May, I want to do something super elaborate for that, because every time I go down there, I'd like to paint them very elaborate colors.
Why not? Life is short.
Yeah. And then my favorite question, is there a stinky smell that just makes you gag?
I can't think of any. But I'll tell you that a stinky smell that makes a lot of people gag, but I happen to love it, is a skunk smell. And the reason I love it is it reminds me of the many trips my dad took the family on, road trips across the country. And when we would find a skunk smell, it would just make us all laugh and titter, and we'd talk about skunks. And so for me, it's a sweet memory. Tommy, is there a smell that makes you vomitous? What, that turns you off? I forgot the exact word.
That makes you gag? Yes.
Gag.
It's either farts or feet.
Oh, no. No, I don't. And I have a very sensitive nose. Oversensitive. I could have been a perfumery person or a wine drink, but a super sensitive nose. Yeah. No, nothing makes me gag, really.
Yeah, my mother, she's Italian. She has a very sensitive nose. I mean, every 5 minutes she's complaining about something.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, well, the good thing is if you have a leak in your house, I smell it right away. Way before my husband does,
Fire.
Way before, weeks before. So,
Fire too.
You say it again?
Fire too. You can smell if there's a fire.
Oh, sure. Yeah, anything like that. Anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
okay, are those your questions?
It is my questions, and I was wondering if you'd like to hear one of my famous jokes.
Oh, sure. If they're that famous, go ahead, dear.
It's become a staple of the podcast. You know the difference between a golf ball and a G-spot?
I'm not sure I'm going to laugh.
It takes a man 20 minutes to find the golf ball.
Okay, that is good. I'll give you that. That's very good. Now, tell me this. Do you have a different joke every time, every podcast?
Sometimes I repeat the same ones, but sometimes I have different ones.
No, you gotta get different ones, because I'm sure you have some of the same. Probably most of your listeners are the same ones. You gotta get different material.
Well, it's funny, with every joke I tell, there's always a different reaction. There's some people, the joke goes over their head, or they don't think it's that funny, or they think it's absolutely hilarious. So it's basically relying on, guests, reaction to it.
Tommy, I get your point. And I now think it's clever of you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
You know that's what you're doing. Now, listen, is this something I should publicize on my Twitter and my Instagram?
Oh, sure. If we connect on Facebook and Twitter, I can tag you in these and you can post them.
Yeah, do. Go ahead and tag me so I can post it then. Give me at least a day because I am on all these social medias, but I hate doing it. I hate spending time on it.
Yeah.
But I generally try to get on once a day no matter what. This is a discipline.
Yeah. Marianne, I thank you so much for coming on today, and I hope you have a lot of fun traveling on your next trip.
Thank you.
And
thank you, dear. Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe we can talk again in the future, and
okay.
I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Much continued success, and thank you for, listening to us actors and thinking we have something to say, That's nice.
Many of you do. Many of you do, especially you. Thank you, Marianne.
All right, honey. God bless you. Bye-bye.
God bless you. Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Marianne Muellerleile. Ain't she a sweetheart? God, an amazing journeywoman actress with great stories. I like her a lot. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.